What's up, people? I am back. I was doing this. I did a take of this video yesterday, Matrix Reloaded review, but it kept fucking up, and it got too late, so I couldn't. So I just decided not to do it. So I'm doing it now, and this time I am gonna double up today. I am doing this one, and then some point it will probably be later, really later. I just don't know when yet. I will be reviewing Matrix Revolutions, the final one. So, but today I am reviewing the Matrix Reloaded, which is the second one. I've seen the last two in the theater because I remember, because this was an interesting, one of the few times where like a 2 and a 3, like a sequel after sequel came out the same year. That's a rare. Like even like, I think, even though I'm not a Harry Potter fan, I think like Deadly Hallows Part 1 and 2 were like a year apart. So at this time, this was crazy. These movies were like basically 4 or 5 months apart. Because I think Matrix Reloaded was May of 2003. And Revolutions was, I think, November. Yeah, it's November. But I remember, I know a lot of people don't like these movies. Specifically the third one, but there's people who don't really like this film either. I like the Matrix sequels. I rewatched them like a year ago, and I still like them then. And definitely rewatching them this week, I really like Matrix Reloaded. I think it does what a sequel is supposed to do. You know, essentially to me, a sequel should always be like the first one, but on steroids. Like there should be more. Like if it's a slasher, there should be more kills, more action scenes. If it's an action scene, like. And I think they really did a lot of that. Like, the big highway chase is probably my favorite part of the whole film. I think a lot of the CGI holds up. I like learning some of the backstory of Zion. You know? And it was cool seeing Morpheus do stuff in this film. Because I felt like in the first one, it was fine. But in the first one, we see him train, but then he gets his ass kicked by Smith. And then, yeah, he's kind of handcuffed. So it's kind of cool to see him actually be part of the action. So I overall like this film. I think there are some issues, but it's definitely a fun one. It does, like I mentioned, does what a sequel's supposed to do. So, definitely out of 10, I'd give this one like an 8. It's not as strong as the first one, but I think it's a strong action flick nonetheless. So, we will get into that. And basically the main plot is, Neo and the group visit Zion, and they realize Zion is basically in danger of being attacked by the Sentinels, and Neo has to basically find a way to stop it. Agent Smith, Hugo Weaving, is still alive. I thought he does a great job in this film, even though he's not in this film as much. I like some of the new bad guys, like the twins. I think they were kind of cool, even though they weren't in the film a lot. So yeah. Like I said, later will be Matrix Revolution review, and some point this weekend, I don't know when I'm seeing Stream 5 yet, and there are some things I'm already hearing I'm not really being a fan of, so I'll see, I'll watch it more when I actually watch the film, but I plan on watching the film either tomorrow or a Sunday, and I'll try to get a review out by Sunday or Monday, so, but, other than that, let's kick off, The Matrix Reloaded. So we kick off the movie where we basically get a flash forward where a lot of movies would kind of show you like the ending or like the final act of the movie, where you see I was gonna say Tori by accident. Trinity is being chased by an agent. And then she jumps out the window. Agent follows her, shoots her. We get some bullet time, and one of the bullets hits her, and she crashes, seemingly dies. But then we wakes up, and now we meet a lot more members of the Matrix and Zion. We meet Captain Niobe, played by Jada Pinkett Smith, who I don't like her in real life. I'm gonna always mention every movie that I review she's in. I'm gonna always mention that. But I think she does do a good job in this. I think I like her dynamic with Morpheus. This it's not revealed here, but it's revealed later that she's an ex of Morpheus. So we get a cool like scene in the Matrix of the group and some more members of different armies of Zion, which is cool. And basically they confirm that the Sentinels are on the way and that they only have a couple hours. Then some agents show up and we get a cool fight scene. Basically it was just a scene to show off Neo's skill, which is pretty cool. So he fights some slightly updated agents. He takes them out and I think flies away while everyone like kind of disperses. Then the next scene is them heading to Zion and we meet Link, who's Tank and Dozer's brother, or is brother-in-law, because I think he's married to their sister. And I like Link. It's, you know, I really like Tank in the first one, but it's fine. You know, I understand he died, you know. So, we also get a reveal that Agent Smith is still alive. That he can now clone himself. And I really liked Hugo Weaving in this movie. And then there's some people going back in out of the Matrix. One of them makes it out, but then Agent Smith manages to turn one of them into him. And then he takes the call and goes back into the real world. I wish they did more with that. And I understand they were setting that up for the third one. So, I understand that. But I kind of think it would have been cool if they did a bit with it in this one. So, now back in the regular world, Link lands the Nebuchadnezzar back at Zion. And this is where we meet Commander Locke, played by Harry Lennox, you might know as General Swanwick in Man of Steel / Martian Manhunter. I thought he does a really good job in this movie as like he's always a good like military type character. And he doesn't believe in like the Oracle and all this like the prophecy shit. He doesn't believe in it. He's more of like we gotta fight these Sentinels now, and he'd rather the Nebuchadnezzar not leave. So, we get like a party scene at Zion, and I'll admit this sequence goes a bit long. I didn't mind it. It's just I think they could have cut it. Like they should have cut it when Neo and Trinity run off together. And I'll admit I actually genuinely like their relationship. I think that's the one aspect about this film, and the next one I really do like. Is I think they have chemistry. Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves actually genuinely feel like they love each other. So, and it doesn't feel rushed, because I know the first one, they don't really set it up that they're a couple. Actually, no, in a way they do. I mean, the scene where she clearly loves him and then kisses him, I just fucking remembered that. But yeah, so they kind of already somewhat set it up, and so they run off. And then we get a really cool speech scene from Morpheus. Fucking the Lawrence Fishburne is so great at delivering speech, especially as Morpheus. Like, it was a really well done scene. And then I think it just kind of drags on a bit with this rave scene, and then we get a scene of Neo having that nightmare again about Trinity dying. Goes off, you know, kind of is just standing there outside, and then we meet the councilman. They have a really kind of good dialogue between the two, and then the next morning, the councilman clears the Nebuchadnezzar to leave, to go to the Matrix, because they gotta go meet the Oracle. Of course, Locke thinks it's a bad idea, and, you know, some could question, is it because he's just, he's still kind of not fully trusting Morpheus because he's dating his woman? You could think it's that, but I mean, he makes some good arguments, though. It's like, I don't think we can afford, like, we're at a war, and I think I like some of that stuff. I understand some people don't think we should have shown Zion. I've seen people who don't really like the Matrix sequels. I've seen that argument that it should have. We didn't need to see Zion. It was kind of better that it was just mentioned in the first one, and that's it. We didn't like need to see. I was fine with it. It was. I don't know. I didn't mind it. I think there was more to tell, and I'm not saying these movies are perfect. I think this one is really fucking good. I will defend this one. The third one I think has way more issues, and I'll talk about those when I get to that one later. So the next scene, I'll say Jet Li. Neo and the group Neo goes to the Oracle and meets her bodyguard, Seraph, who I'm wondering. I saw somewhere that Jet Li they wanted Jet Li probably to be that part, because I was just thinking the whole time watching this movie, like, that guy, I could see Jet Li being that part. But it was something about licensing his face he didn't, or something, and for whatever reason he turned it down. It would have been cool, because I really think Jet Li would have killed a movie like The Matrix, and granted, we kind of got that, even though it's not the same premise in the one, somewhat, so he takes her to the Oracle. We get a quick fight between the two, so Seraph can get a feel of Neo, because there's a dialogue, so I get a feel of people by seeing them fighting. So he goes to the Oracle, and this is where we get a bit more backstory, and unfortunately, this is the last time Gloria Foster, I think is her name. Yeah, Gloria Foster. Unfortunately, this is the last time we see her play the role, because I think she died not long after she was shooting this one. That's why in the third one, when you do see the Oracle, it's a different actress. I mean, I guess I'll say it here really quick. The actress in the third one was fine. I didn't think, it's just unfortunately, the situation happened. She died. You can't change, and the Oracle is still a big part of these movies. You have to have that character. It's unfortunate she died, because I think Gloria Foster did a really good job as the Oracle. Even if she was really a minor role in both of these movies, I still think she did a good job. So she tells Neo about the Keymaker, and that they have to save, that the Keymaker is being held hostage by the Merovingian. And then Seraph warns that they gotta go, because they realize Agent Smith arrives, and we get the Agent Smith clone versus Neo fight, which is really fucking cool. Yeah, some of the CGI is wonky, especially a lot from Neo. Like, there are moments I'm like, this looks like a video game. Like, the set, like, the background and, like, the set looks real. It's the characters, like, when he's swinging, like, there's a specific moment where he's, like, swinging, like, a light pole. It does just look like that's straight up CGI. So I'll admit, that doesn't look great, but I still think the fight scenes, like, the choreography is great. It was awesome. And at least we get kind of a Neo Agent Smith fight in this movie, because I think this is the last time we really see Agent Smith. I think we see him, like, maybe one more time. No, I'm wrong. We see him in the final act. I forgot about that. So I thought, though, this fight scene was great. It was cool showing off Neo's fight skills, and it showed him getting the agents got some hits in on him. It wasn't like just Neo just, like, bodied him. Like, they got some shots on him. So eventually Neo manages to escape. And then the next day, Neo, Morpheus, and Trinity meet this is where we meet the Merovingian, who is a rogue program who's imprisoning the Keymaker. And we meet his wife, Persephone, who, Monica Bellucci, man, she's hot in this movie. Like, I'm not gonna lie, as a kid, even at that time, I'm like, god damn. So, yeah, we have a nice, like, back and forth between the two. And the Merovingian's, like, this background. He's not, I wouldn't call him a villain, because we see him one more time in the third one. And I don't think we really, like, the moment they get the Keymaker, they don't really, you see him one last time and then that's it. He kind of disappears. So I wouldn't really call him a villain. So he refuses to let the Keymaker go. So Persephone, his wife, because I think due to a line of dialogue where it mentions I guess Mero cheated on her, I think it's implied that. And that's why she wants revenge for her husband's infidelity. She decides that she will help the group get the Keymaker if Neo will kiss her, like, romantically, because she hasn't felt that in a long time. Like, basically kiss her like he kisses Trinity. And this scene, this part was a little... I think they could have hey, it's fine. It just... I don't know. It felt a little bit like something for the Matrix. They could have had her, like, have them do something else, but whatever. It doesn't bother me. It's just a little... So, that happens. We meet the Keymaker, who I think the Keymaker is a cool character for this film. So, they manage to save him, but then Meryl Finnegan and his guards and his henchmen, and this is where we meet the twins, who are, they have, like, they could turn invisible and are really good skill. I think they were good, like, side antagonists that you see throughout the film. The only weird thing is I remember seeing art for the film coming out. Like, I remember when this was coming out, they showed, like, one of the art was Neo fighting the twins, but that doesn't even end up happening in the movie. It's Morpheus who fights them, like, Morpheus and Trinity. Those are the only two who fight the twins. I don't think the twins even interact with Neo. Besides the one moment where Neo's, like, flying in. Because, okay, so, Meryl Finnegan's goons show up. We get a fight scene between Neo and his other guards. And this fight scene is really cool. Neo just taking people out. It was just, with weapons, it was fucking cool. So Neo takes him out, but the Meryl Finnegan escapes before Neo can get him. And the Keymaker's keys can open a door to literally anywhere. So I like that aspect about it. So the twins are chasing Trinity and Morpheus, and we get kind of a cool fight scene between the two. Morpheus and Trinity get the Keymaker, and they find a car, so they manage to escape. But Neo they end up closing the door, and when Neo opens it, it's to a different location, so he has to fly there. So we get, like, this really long chase scene. This is where we get, like, the iconic highway chase fight. This is probably the biggest fight, besides, like, the Smith clones. I would argue is, like, probably the biggest action set piece in this whole movie. I really like it. I had fun with this. To me, if you're going to do a chase scene, you got to always make it entertaining. And I think they did a really good job. Because then they brought in some of the agents showing up. So, and, like, the moment where one of the twins manages to get in the car and try to get the Keymaker, you have fucking Morpheus trying to fight him in the car. It's so fucking cool. It's like... So, but Morpheus manages to take out the twins, because while Trinity takes the Keymaker and she has to basically protect him on her own now for a second, Morpheus is just waiting with a fucking katana, man. It's just badass to see him with a katana. And the twins are in a car. Basically, you're going to try to ram him. He moves out the way, slices the car, so the car, like, basically flips. And then we get this really cool fight scene where he, like, shoots the underside and it blows up. And basically, this is the end of the twins. The twins were a cool, like, side villain, you know? Like, they weren't, like, I think maybe they could have did a bit more with them, but they were a cool, like, side villain. And their death was cool. Fucking Morpheus flipped the car flipping, and he just, like, with his quickness, just shoots the fucking under, and it just blows the fuck up. So Trinity steals a motorcycle, and, with the Keymaker, but she's still being chased by, one of the agents, but Neo manages to make the save. Then the next scene is the crew of the Nebuchadnezzar and the Vigilant and Logos, which there was a scene earlier where the council needed to find the Nebuchadnezzar, so Captain, I'm trying to remember Jada Pinkett's character's name. Captain Niobe. I cannot believe I forgot her name for a second. Captain Niobe and then a different captain decided to go. So we get a scene of them talking about what the plan is. And I always love movies where they're talking about, we're going to do this plan, but they're also already simultaneously doing it and talking about it. So they end up reaching the source, and they got to destroy a power plant at, I think, a specific time. And Neo asks Trinity because of he doesn't want her to die to stay behind. So the Logos succeeds in destroying one of the power plants, so we get like kind of a cool fight scene. And then, but the Vigilant ends up getting destroyed because while this is happening, Sentinels attack the Vigilant. And Trinity decides, because of I said Trinity. Wow, fucking I. Trinity, sorry, fucking decides to go because she can't allow anyone to die, so she decides to go on her own. And this is where we get kind of like the scene from the beginning we saw. And then while they try to reach the source, Agent Smith and his clone show up, and we get kind of a cool fight scene between them. And but Neo and Morpheus seemingly managed to make it in, but the Keymaker, because agents were shooting the door when it closed, bullets went through and it hit the Keymaker, so the Keymaker dies and gets one last key. He gets the door to the source, and this is where Neo meets the Architect, and I actually really love these scenes. I really love the Architect as a character, even though I think this is the only... No, we do see him in the third one. I'm stupid. I really like his character. The Architect, the way he talks. Like, he talks like a fucking robot, and it's, like, believable. Like, the amount of knowledge he knows. You get a lot of backstory about the Matrix and the beginning of the Matrix and all this stuff. And then this is where it's revealed that the One is actually a design of the Matrix, and that there was never any prophecy. It was always... at least seemingly set up in by the Matrix inherently. So it was never... And then he forces Neo to make a choice. This is where it's revealed that Zion will be destroyed. You either gotta save Zion, or you gotta save Trinity from dying. And Neo ends up saving Trinity. But I really do like the scene between the two. Like, it really, like... Well, it also sets up, like, what's gonna happen in the third one, pretty much. And it gives you doubt. Oh, Neo isn't the one. He was never... It was always by the... There was always a one by design for the Matrix. I think they did. I like that aspect. So, we get, Trinity seemingly getting, seemingly gets the codes in, and then she gets beat up by an agent, and then we get basically the same fight scene as before, and you get this really cool scene of Neo flying while Link and Morpheus are watching from the ship. It's really fucking cool. And so Neo, and like when he's flying, like all the environment is like getting destroyed, like buildings are like blowing up, not blowing up, but like the glass is going everywhere. It's fucking cool. So Neo, we get seemingly the same situation where Trinity gets shot, but Neo manages to save her before falling on the truck, and then he takes her to a different... He removes the bullet from her chest, but then she starts to flatline. Neo revives her and brings her back. So I thought it was cool to do the fake death here, and fake out death here. So they return to the real world. Sentinels attack them. We get a chase scene. And before that, Neo tells Morpheus and the group that about the one prophecy not being true. Neo says he could feel the Sentinels, and when the Sentinels... He basically does what he did with the first movie with the bullets. He puts his hand out, and then the Sentinels, like, disable. And then he falls into a coma. And then a crew are picked up by a ship called the Hammer. And basically, then it's revealed that we found that there was only one survivor, and the one survivor was the Smith possessed. The character's name is Bane. So, and then it says to be concluded. So, I like this movie. I think this movie does what a second film is supposed to do. Have bigger action scenes, and I think they really did. I thought the fights were fucking clean in this. So a lot of the CGI, well, the CGI for the fighting wasn't great in some scenes, but like the CGI for like the scenes where the ship is flying through, like the Nebuchadnezzar's just floating through, like is flying around. I actually think those scenes look really good. I genuinely love Neo's story. I really like the whole idea of him potentially not being the chosen one. At least they make it seem like that. And I really do dig that fight between the clones and Neo. That was fucking cool. That was, even if the effects weren't great, who gives a shit? The choreography was great. I genuinely like this movie. I don't get the hate. It's not as strong as the first one, definitely, but it's a solid sequel. So, like I mentioned earlier, I'd give this one like an 8 out of 10. I definitely recommend it. It works watching after the first one. So, yeah. But definitely, Matrix Reloaded is good. I will be doing Revolutions later tonight. And man, I like it. It gave us the blueprint for a cool Superman fight with the Neo Agent Smith fight in the end, but man, I'll just mention some of the things I don't like them killing Trinity. At least not so early in the film. I think if they were gonna kill her, it should have been probably where, if she didn't die, if she had died, where that part of this one was, like where she didn't, the fake out death, that's where she should have died, like in the end of the movie. It should have been like in the final act, not in the like beginning. It just felt kind of weird to kill her so early off. And granted, it wasn't super early, but it was still like a bit early. She should have been in the final act, in my opinion. But Revolutions is a okay ending. Yeah, it's kind of convenient that all of a sudden there's a thing, and we're at peace now. I think that's a bit kind of forced, but overall, Matrix Revolutions is fine. So I'll be talking about that a little bit later. I will be seeing Scream 5 soon. I just don't know what day yet. So, but other than that, I'm gonna cheers to this movie. Other than that, fuck Warner Brothers, fuck Disney, fuck La Bitch James, fuck Colin Kaepernick, fuck Joy Reid, fuck Seth Rogen, and fuck the Biden administration. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace!